evening, ladies and gentlemen. I am Hollywood J. Williams. Once again, I am joined by Mr. John Zimmerman, of course.
Of course.
How you doing this evening, John?
I'm wonderful this evening, my friend.
That's good. We got a little news to get to, and we have a very special guest, so we're going to keep the news kind of brief this week. Advertised tonight for Raw, Adam Copeland, Edge, supposedly is making some kind of return.
Yeah, it's been quite a while since we've seen Edge do anything at all. I mean, he did the WWE straight-to-video movie there, bending the rules, breaking the rules,
something like that.
He did something to the rules. And, I mean, it was a fun movie, and we really haven't heard or seen him since. I think he did like one USA TV show, guest spot, and completely disappeared off the face of the earth.
He did, it was inducted into the Hall of Fame, class of 2012.
Yep.
And, like you said, it hasn't really been seen since, so I don't know what kind of role he's going to have, where he's going to fit into any angle storylines they have, but it'll be nice to see him. Somebody that is not going to be on TV anytime soon, of course, is John Cena, who posted a rather grotesque picture on Twitter of his latest injury update, how his arm, elbow is doing.
Yeah.
How the ball is slowly going down, whatever.
Yeah, that photo wasn't for the squeamish.
No. So he and I quote, "Daily dose of scar stuff. Will post some less gut-wrenching pics of rehab later." But Cena, I think we've seen enough. Just keep it to yourself, my man. We know the story. We know you're not going to be around anytime soon, but we wish you the best of luck and in a speedy recovery.
And strangely enough, at the same time, Nikki Bella was out with an injury. I don't know.
Did John Cena injure her somehow?
No. If you watch the Total Divas, she was bumped off the ring apron and just landed on her shin wrong. And apparently it was a re-injury of something older from when she was a soccer player as well.
I see.
So she's going to have that addressed as we speak, and just maybe they can just hug it out and rehab together.
That's all. That's all. But somebody else that might be returning, there are several rumors going around the wrestling, business about the return of one David Batista. And fueling the fire, of course, is Talent Scout announcer Jim Ross saying that hopefully if the timing is right, I'm quoting him now, Batista will be able to make a cameo or two in WWE in the future, as I'm sure his fans would love to see him. Now, Triple H and Randy Orton have been reunited. They have a reassociation with each other. So there's been speculation that Batista would return. They might reform an evolution of some sort.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've heard it many a time that Batista's coming back and Batista's going to do some sort of MMA angle because he tried that out for a while. And I won't believe it till it happens. Batista's denied it and rumors over and over. And if it happens, it happens. I really don't think people are looking forward to it. It's not a huge return like The Rock would be or Stone Cold. It's Dave Batista, and really, since he's been gone, I don't think fans have been clamoring to get him back. My opinion.
We'll have to see.
I mean, no disrespect to Dave. He definitely had his ups and downs in the WWE, but as I said, it's not a huge thing to see him come back.
Gotta have my alcoholic beverage here.
Yeah.
Or non-alcoholic beverage,
Non-alcoholic beverage on the air. Thank you very much. You all right there?
Allergy season.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, again, in the fall. I can't understand it, but anyway.
Welcome to New England, my friend.
I guess so. So, if he did come back, I don't know if they'd reform Evolution or not, to be honest with you. He might come in and decide to Daniel Bryan. I think a lot of people wanted to do that.
Yeah, I mean, he definitely kept himself in great shape. If you've seen any of his tweets and some of the photos that have been on the internet, because he did train to become the MMA fighter, So, I mean, he's in good shape. He'll come back strong. It'll be fun to see him again. But I'm kind of lukewarm
May
either way.
2010. That was the last time he was on.
Wow.
It's been a while.
Yeah, it has been a while.
But
we'll see.
See what happens.
Yep.
But also, speaking of Triple H,
Yep.
in order to make himself look good as the heel chief operations officer,
Yep.
on WWE.com, you could see a 15-minute interview being led by Michael Cole, where Triple H pretty much explains everything, why he has to do things that he feels are best for business, why the beatdowns on Daniel Bryan week per week per week.
Yeah, I mean, he does this interview in his heel, his heel character mode, and I mean, it's fun to see. It's getting a little worn out. The whole angle, where he's basically trying to recreate the Mr. McMahon character in his own image.
Yeah, and it seems like he's trying to recreate the Mr. McMahon character in his own image, but it seems like you might even be better off with Mr. McMahon than this guy. I mean, the things he's doing. I mean, I don't really know. He thinks he's doing what's best for business, but we shall see it. It'll probably get, it might get stale quick, because there was one Mr. McMahon and that was it.
Right, and what's best for business really isn't working because his stock really hasn't gone anywhere. It's actually dropped a couple of points.
No, but he's invested heavily in the state of Florida and a performance center, and now that performance center has a new general manager.
Yeah.
A guy named David Bailey, whose only experience in entertainment comes from being the GM of Ringling Brothers Barnum and Bailey Circus.
Well,
So I want to get this straight. This guy, who we're talking to our guest pretty soon. We'll get his opinion on this too.
Yeah.
A guy that apparently, if I lose my job and I want to be hired as a wrestler, I can go down to this performance center. And he's going to show me the right way to do it. And now a circus guy is going to tell me if I've got it or not. Well, I don't know about hiring a circus GM.
I think you're oversimplifying it a little bit. But, as Vince has always been quoted, there's a right way, a wrong way, and then there's the WWE way, and there's Vince's way.
Mm-hmm.
And at some level, Vince is always, taken guys from not just off the street, but from the independent scene, and made them, into WWE stars. And sometimes it's worked, and sometimes it hasn't. Mm-hmm. He's tried to rebrand somebody that already came in. Actually, he did that with Daniel Bryan. Daniel Bryan came out of Ring of Honor as Bryan Danielson with a following, and then he just
switched the name. He switched it from Bryan Danielson to Daniel Bryan.
Right.
It's not a big, huge change.
He threw him in as part of Nexus.
Yep.
Where Daniel Bryan could have been a lot higher, a lot quicker.
Oh yeah.
Had he not been thrown into the Nexus angle and all that. But Vince, as we all know, doesn't like anything that he doesn't create. So
if he can't make it, if he can't think about it himself, if somebody else thought about it, then
right. Which is really surprising with this Bray Wyatt character, because that did come out of Husky Harris.
That was his own idea.
Yeah, reinventing himself.
Mm-hmm.
And Bray Wyatt cut those promos on his own, with his own cameras and his own funding,
right.
And actually got himself in. And I think that was the problem with Zack Ryder as well. Zack Ryder went and made his own character, and since Vince didn't create it, he won't back it up.
He won't back it up. He'll only go so far with it, whatever.
So the whole point of the Performance Center and that statement is they're going to bring people in and teach them their way of doing things.
Their way of doing things.
So.
There's their way and there's other ways of doing it.
Right. Well,
right.
I mean, and you can't argue with the WWE success.
Yeah.
So obviously, they apparently know what they're doing.
They do. I'm not saying they don't, but it's just you have to acknowledge that there's other places where you can learn, even if it's not their
without
way.
a doubt. We're going to talk about that in just a little bit. Other places where you can learn.
Definitely. We know we talk about one pretty much on the show a lot, and we'll talk about another one this evening.
Oh, absolutely.
Quick TNA news, because we have to do it. One night only Knockouts pay-per-view is debuted. You can see there's knockouts on there that they don't even really show.
Yeah,
apparently.
they're not even in the company anymore.
Yeah, probably not. And I have to say this. Is this the end of Aces and Eights? Bully Ray defends the TNA title this Thursday night against Mr. Anderson. I can only do it so hard.
Anderson. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, that whole storyline's winding down, and, you know, a lot of Aces and Eights are no longer with the company.
Yeah.
TNA's really got to take a step back. I would say take a break and come out and rebrand themselves. With all the, I don't want to say firings, but, you know, they didn't rehire a lot of people.
Do you think,
you know,
well, some of the people that supposedly have left the company that are in Aces and Eights, do you think there's going to be 2 Aces and Eights?
No.
It's just going to be
it's
the
no
end of
secret that the reason those people are no longer there is because they're no longer on the payroll, because there is no payroll to be had.
It's like being laid off from your job.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely not a work. It's you know, the truth being that Impact Wrestling has been bleeding money, and you know, they're coming to the point where enough is enough. And
right.
Between now and the end of their contract with Spike in 2016, we may not see a TNA anymore.
We might be talking about within the next year the end of that company.
Without a doubt. Without a doubt.
Within the coming year. But one quick Raw preview, and then we're going to bring we have one guest that we've had on before,
yep.
and a very, very special guest as well.
Yes.
But tonight, the main event for Raw, which is coming out of Toronto, I believe,
yes.
tonight, is... Now, what happened last week was Cody Rhodes, he's been fired, he's been let go from the company, quote unquote. Tonight, his brother, Goldust, Dustin Runnels, he's going by the Goldust character, is going to go one-on-one with WWE Champion Randy Orton. And if Goldust can beat Randy Orton, Cody will have the opportunity to apologize and he'll be able to get his job back.
Yeah, it should be interesting. I was thinking that maybe Cody Rhodes would dress up as Goldust, but apparently, from our information, Goldust is in Toronto. Dustin Runnels is in Toronto, so that shoots my theory out the door.
Shoots your theory completely out the door.
You never know.
But,
you never know. Stranger things have happened.
There's got to be a way Goldust is going to beat Randy Orton.
Yeah.
Yes.
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 But I will
Hopefully
predict
so.
before we get to our guest, I will predict on the pay-per-view. Paul Heyman will have a new person in his stable.
Really?
Yeah. Curtis Axel will be taken out of the match somehow, and CM Punk will either just be about to get his hands on Paul Heyman or smack Paul Heyman once or twice.
And we'll get to see the new Paul Heyman guy.
A new Paul Heyman guy. That's my bold prediction for the pay-per-view.
Any idea who?
I won't speculate. We'll talk off the air.
We'll talk off the air.
Speaking of Goldust, the Connecticut. Go ahead.
Yeah. I think I was going to say what you were going to say.
Right.
If we were going to say the same thing.
The Connecticut pro wrestling scene has exploded over the last year. We always talk about the people on the scene. CTWE just folded up, but it was actually swallowed up and taken over by Northeast Wrestling. So we have Northeast Wrestling regular presence in Connecticut.
Yeah, so they've absorbed most of the CTWE talent.
Yeah, so I mean, we applaud Northeast Wrestling for employing these Connecticut wrestlers.
Yep.
And they're committed to Connecticut. They've run shows periodically through our state and in various areas, but they've committed to Bethany, the old home of CTWE, and of course we've got PWA.
PWA, I was at there. They had a big party over at Buffalo Wild Wings this past Saturday.
Yeah, you can see some of the photos on their Facebook page and on their website, ProWrestlingCT.com. Their show is coming up on this Sunday over in Ansonia. And you can find out the information on their website,
Yep.
and of course
They
it's on our-
celebrated their 1-year anniversary.
Yep, this
just
is a
sort
one-year
of
anniversary
like
show.
we're celebrating ours silently this evening.
Yeah, we'll get to some spectacular highlights and moments.
Definitely.
And we just had the North Haven Fair with NEW, which we're going to show highlights in the next couple of weeks. And as I said, PWA's celebrating 1 year. So in Connecticut, like I said, the independent scene of pro wrestling has just exploded. And
Definitely.
live pro wrestling, Friday the 13th. Friday the 13th always had a negative connotation. This gentleman is making Friday the 13th a positive thing.
Definitely.
Gold Dust here in Connecticut.
Gold Dust here in Connecticut.
You're going to see him on TV tonight. You're going to see him in person on Friday. Get out there. This gentleman here is making it happen.
So let's bring him out.
There you go.
This is the newest promotion in Connecticut, RWE, Real Warrior Entertainment, and here to talk about it is their promoter, accompanied by the beautiful Jenny Lovefield,
Yes.
Mr. Craig Andrews.
Welcome.
Welcome to the Squared Circle.
Thank you. Thank you for having us. Appreciate it.
Not a problem.
I'm not superstitious. Friday the 13th, it's just another day with RWE Wrestling Uprising. I'm excited about this show coming up this Friday at Nomads in South Windsor. The talent, bar none, best in the industry, best in the area, hands down. Here with the lovely Miss RWE this evening. How you doing?
Good.
Good.
Yeah, nice to see you again, Jen.
It's good to be back.
Yeah. So you're new in the area, so tell us about how you started RWE, a little bit about your own personal background.
Yeah, I mean, RWE was a vision, a thought, an idea, and, I said, I watched the indie scene far enough in New England, in Connecticut, and I said, we can do something better than this. So, we are really just employing some of the best talent that is unsigned by WWE, for example. Any one of our guys or girls could very easily be on TV. They're that caliber of talent. So I feel very fortunate to work with the guys and gals like, Todd Hansen, Mike Bennett, Vinny, and Brutal Bob Evans, there's so many more. Connecticut's own first class Vladimir Joseph. You guys got Shane Marvel, and the list goes on. Really, I mean, we are in the process of promoting the Real Warrior Initiative, and what we mean by that is step your A game up, because this is the stage in New England to perform on.
So, John, you wanted to ask him about the school?
Yeah, in addition to putting on these wrestling cards, you're training wrestlers in Connecticut as well. Tell us about that. How can we find out who's the trainers? Because I know one of the names is really huge.
Yeah, RWEWrestling.com. We've been fortunate enough to work with a guy that everybody knows as one of the ECW originals, heavyweight champion at one time, former WWF. He's had multiple gimmicks, Aldo Montoya. You know him better as Just Incredible. And he's been very, very good to RWE. I'm very proud of our affiliation with Just Incredible and, what he has overcome the last 12 months or so. Let's face it, he's had a checkered past, and he's been up against many, many obstacles. And from what I can tell, the guy's healthy. He's $1 million. And if you want to learn something by a veteran that's got 20 plus years in the
So he
business,
basically turned his life around, and now he's trying to give back to other people.
Without a doubt. I mean, I don't know Just Incredible as anything other than as I know him today, just to be a great, supportive, informative ring leader, a true real warrior.
And we interviewed him not too long ago. He was at a PWA event, and in the ring he was incredible, just incredible. And it was great to see him. He talked to us for a little bit. We aired the promo he cut for us on the air, and he seemed like he was in great spirits and in really good shape, and he was just a wonderful guy to talk to and meet. And I can't imagine being a young guy coming up in this, trying to make it, and having Justin Credible be right there showing you,
I know.
Because it's the real deal. It's not.
Justin Credible was always like one of my favorites.
It's not a guitar teacher, that never made it, trying to teach you play the, it's a guy that, like as you said, I mean, his resume is as long as my arm, through ECW, through WWE, WWF back in the day, and you get the chance to step in the ring and not only learn the physicality of it, but the mindset, which he always had a great. A great character and a great, grasp of the psyche of the game. So I think it's awesome.
He's really made a comeback. I mean, with his Pro Wrestling 101 on YouTube, definitely check that out. It's informative. Getting booked, selling, the various topics that he explores, helping the new generation, the younger generation, and it's definitely something that anybody in the business, or even just a casual fan, should definitely check out. RWE Wrestling, we've had a fantastic summer, but it's time to kick things up a notch, and you're going to certainly see that come Friday the 13th at Nomads.
Definitely. So now you have Dustin Runnels, like we were talking about Goldust before.
Lord Goldie.
You're going to call him Lord Goldie.
Lord Goldie, formerly known as Goldust. Yeah, he's he's an interesting character. He's a freak, man.
He's been on your cards previously?
He was booked for our August 2nd show, which we ended up rescheduling. I went on a family vacation. But he'll be here Friday. Should be interesting. He and the Greek god Papadon are going to go one-on-one, and this match is going to be explosive. Let me tell you, there's two combustible elements meeting head-to-head this Friday in the main event, and it's definitely something that you do not want to miss. Brutal Bob Evans is going to take on the brand new bad Todd Hansen, and boy, do these two have a score to settle. You got a special women's match with the Mistress Belmont taking on Veda Scott. And, if you've never seen these two gals compete inside of a squared circle, you definitely don't want to miss it at RWE Wrestling
Uprising.
Uprising.
Become familiarized with some of these names.
Yeah, I saw Mistress Belmont and Veda Scott at the Bombshell Ladies of Wrestling last month. I traveled down to Jersey. And not just these two girls, but the whole card was fantastic. So you're definitely in for a treat to see Mr. Belmont and Veda Scott, applying their trade in the RWE venue. And from what I understand, Nomads is not only just a wrestling destination, but they've got a lot of other stuff going on.
They have Space Mountain there.
Nomads. We bring Space Mountain to Nomads. Come on, man. Nomads is a family-friendly, glorified arcade, They got the arcades there. They got the, interactive video games, teacup rides, you name it, bounce houses. Great place to take the kids. And,
so honestly, you can make a whole day out of it. Go up there, ride the rides, and then hang out afterwards and check out some quality wrestling.
Definitely.
And I mentioned the North Haven Fair. I believe Vinny Marsaglio was on the card at the North Haven Fair, and we'll be showing some of that next week. And you got Mike Bennett on the card, Brandon Locke, Sean Burke, and wrestling legend Les Thatcher. I mean, you're really just bringing it in. It's a stacked card. It's unbelievable that you got all this talent in one room at the same time.
Yeah, it is amazing. And again, like I said, I feel very fortunate to be able to produce something like this. People have seen, that have been to the live shows, have seen Craig Andrews on the forefront, on the microphone, the boss. and I'm taking a step back, bringing in a general manager, an ambassador of RWE. My executive producer, Caleb Seltzer, and I have brought in somebody that we're going to introduce this Friday. Should be interesting, I think.
Little tease.
Oh, yeah.
Little tease. So you had a persona yourself in the RWE?
Yeah, and I think that being the owner of the company, the spotlight really needs to be not focused on myself, but my talent, the guys and the girls that make the gears turn and that make the company tick. And I have no business being out there. Again, it's the guys and the girls of Real Warrior Entertainment that deserve this type of stage to be able to showcase their talent on. Bar none, the best independent promotion, dare I say, not just in Connecticut, but in all of New England. And, we may be very, very young at this moment, in this point of time, but cameraman, zoom in. Because, let me tell you, you're in for a ride. What we have planned for the next just 4 months, the stories, the excitement, the type of talent that we're bringing into Connecticut, it's not been seen yet. So.
Yeah, some of the previous cards, you've had some of the guys in from Ring of Honor, other former TNA talents and WWE talents, and you're bringing in not only your regular stable, but you're bringing in a guy like a Gold Dust to draw a little more attention.
Lord Goldie.
Lord Goldie.
Dustin Runnels, whichever name you prefer to.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't really established the RWE roster. We've had some shows that have showcased amazing talent thus far, but now you're really going to see the stars of Real Warrior Entertainment come to life and see what this company is built on and what it's founded on, and it's definitely going to be one exciting ride.
So you feel as if there's a lot of competition here in Connecticut between yourself, maybe others like PWA out of New Haven. There's NAFW's going to be putting up cards in Waterbury pretty soon. The CTWE go on. I mean, do you think it's real competitive, or are you concerned about the competitive level here? Or?
Absolutely not. We have a great relationship with guys like Joseph von Schmidt. He's worked with the company before, and we'll definitely work with each other again. But as far as competition in the area, I really can't focus on what anybody else is producing. The only thing that I can focus on is the guys and girls that step into our ring, how well we take care of them, the precautions we take to ensure safety, and the production.
Which is very, very important.
Oh, without a doubt.
The production that we put on. As far as competition, I see 3 letters and 3 letters only, RWE.
Well, I think it harkens back a little bit to the territory days where, you had different promotions that were not necessarily competing with one another, and they would trade talent once in a while. As you mentioned, you've had Joseph von Schmidt on your card.
Oh, yeah.
And I think it's a healthy thing, and I think there should be some sort of communication between all, so that you don't overlap, and you don't kill us as fans, because we want to see everything. Yeah. We like your product, we like NEW product, and if you guys can get together and not run 3 shows on the weekend, and so we have to try to either choose one or the other, or try to get to all 3.
Did you ever think about doing like a joint show with another company?
Well, let me tell you, as the new guy coming in to Connecticut Wrestling, New England Independent Wrestling, I reached out to every promoter. Every promoter, for the most part, I reached out. I spoke with them, expressed, my ideas, my concerns, and that's that. I was very respectful to everybody that had been here before us. And, again, it's just about Real Warrior Entertainment bringing in new talent, different wrestlers, pro wrestlers that New England, Connecticut really doesn't get an opportunity to see.
Yeah, because there's names you're flying off here that I've never even heard of some of these people. So
we are creating our own stars. We're creating our own product, our own brand. Anything that was here before, forget about it, because this Real Warrior Entertainment is not. We are our own product. We are our own brand. And when you come to an RWE show, you can absolutely expect top-notch production, but best of all, real wrestling.
where did you come up with the name?
The name. I've always considered myself a bit of a warrior, in my line of work. I'm a hard worker. I dedicate 110% effort to everything that I do. I don't give up. I was a single father for a number of years, and I pride myself on the hard work, dedication, and commitment that I not just contribute to my family, but those on my team and those around me. And I have, if you've ever seen any of my artwork on my body, I have the word warrior across the top of my back. And, it signifies many different aspects of my life. And just the guys and girls that step in between our ropes, they're real warriors. We expect nothing but the best. Like I said, we are giving them a forum, a stage that they deserve. You got anything to say?
Yeah, I wanted to get to that. We feel bad. What have you seen? I mean, you've obviously been to the events. What's your take on the whole thing, having a different set of eyes?
Well, I've been wrestling with Just Incredible, all over, the East Coast and everything. And I've been as far out as Pennsylvania in some random town with probably 200 people. But, a huge amount of people showed up, and even, the guys in the back were like, yeah, we've heard of RWE before. And I was like, wow.
That's pretty amazing.
You're definitely on the map.
Yeah,
We
they
have a
knew
great
everything.
social media following. I own and operate a company called Social Media Networks in Connecticut, and we had a little leg up on the competition just because the company supporting it and being versed in that background. But we're making noise.
Well, talking
Good
about
noise.
social media, where can we find you on Twitter, on Facebook, on...
Facebook, Real Warrior Entertainment. Twitter,
You sure about that?
Real Warrior ENT. Instagram, RWE Wrestling. Speaking of the internet, we have the unveiling of our Internet Championship that's going to be taking place very, very soon. Beautiful belt. If you go to Wildcat's Facebook page, he's already posted it, which it's fine. But the heavyweight championship, the RWE heavyweight championship, the Internet Championship.
So this is the internet title, and it's an actual title that somebody's going to actually have to win, as opposed to Zack Ryder winning it.
You got it. You got it. And the belts are gorgeous. Let me just tell you, I haven't seen a heavyweight championship in many, many years that looks as beautiful as this belt. Beautiful, beautiful belt. We are redefining the term big gold.
Nice.
Because this thing is huge. Huge.
Lord Gold, right?
Lord Goldie,
It all
Goldust,
comes
this
around.
Friday. He's
It all
coming.
comes around. Can I see any matches online? Have you gotten to that
Yeah,
level yet?
absolutely. You can go log on to RWE Wrestling on YouTube, and we have some clips of some matches there. You can catch the Young Bucks and the Colony from our last Super Summer Showdown on July 26th. That was an amazing match. We also put up a clip of the four-way elimination match with AR Fox, ACH, Black G's, and Jigsaw. Which
I watch that. I'll watch anything that AR Fox does.
looked amazing.
I'm such a mark for that guy. It's crazy.
Did he have a birthday recently?
Yes, he
He
did.
did.
Yes, he did.
Happy birthday, AR Fox.
And Bull Dredd as well just had his birthday. Happy birthday, Bull Dredd, another friend of the
Absolutely.
show. Connecticut's own.
He was at the 1 year party.
Yeah.
They were looking for you.
Yeah, I was at the Bellator fights in Mohegan Sun. Our friend of the show, Andrew Calandrelli, you've seen him on the show. Unfortunately, wasn't medically cleared to fight on Saturday night, but he is on the mends. He's getting better, and we wish him all the health and happiness and luck in the world with that. And he promises he will be on the Bellator card soon. They have a pay-per-view coming up November 2nd where Rampage Jackson and Tito Ortiz are going to be the main event. That more or less is going to be a main event to get the media and the people that know those names. But I'll tell you what, the rest of the card is fantastic. The show Saturday night at Mohegan Sun, probably about 5,000 to 7,000 people there, and they put on one hell of a match. That's the first time I've seen MMA in person. I've always watched it on pay-per-view or on DVD.
Never seen it in person.
And wow, I must say that I was totally blown away. And those guys in Bellator, most of whom came from the Connecticut and the surrounding area, New York, Rhode Island, New Hampshire area, Massachusetts, they brought their own fan base in. And it was crazy. It was crazy good. It was fantastic. It's just the energy, and it's a different vibe, And I'll tell you, with Bellator coming up, and their affiliation with Spike TV and TNA, and the UFC just taking over, and finally getting the okay in Connecticut, Vince has got to run for his money. And once
that's why he was a little
UFC
upset. That's why he was a little upset with Mohegan Sun, and they haven't really been around Mohegan Sun Arena because of their dealings with the Bellator.
Yeah, what I was getting at, once UFC hits Madison Square Garden, Vince is going to be crying like a 2-year-old baby.
Yeah.
Because I don't know, UFC is taking over. What do you think of MMA, and does it really affect your market, your fan base?
I mean, MMA is, its own entity. I mean, they, in my opinion, are missing the over-the-top production value that they could incorporate. However, it might take away from the product. You got guys like, for example, in boxing, Floyd Mayweather. I mean, he's so animated, and he's so over the top that he makes you, or at least makes me, want to see his matches. I know I'll be buying his pay-per-view this weekend, but I think they need more personalities. They did it with Brock Lesnar coming in. He was the name, and they really kind of gave him the belt, in my opinion. But it made me buy their pay-per-views. It made me tune in to watch what was going to happen. And, you saw Lesnar just...
I thought Lesnar, with his first match, he lost it within a few seconds.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, that Mexican guy, took to him, and he couldn't get up. He couldn't get up from those blows. But going back to your question, does it take away from our business? And yeah, I think there's a potential that it could certainly cause some conflict. More so, I would say, with WWE or the larger promotions. I think independent shows like Real Warrior Entertainment, are going to always run based upon their local fan base or wherever they are at that time, and the community basically supporting them.
Yeah, I agree with you. People coming out to a live show, it's a lot different than a pay-per-view or watching it on TV. But I think that UFC, when they do book a pay-per-view on a Saturday, and Vince has got one, and WWE or TNA has one, a pay-per-view on a Sunday, there's definitely a split, because the fan base, roughly, at least the demographic is very similar. 14 to 35-year-old male.
I used to come up with all those findings all the time.
For both products.
Yeah.
And, at $50 to $100 a pay-per-view, you're not going to buy one on Saturday and on a Sunday. in the same weekend. So you're going to get together with your buddies at your house and have a party for one or the other. So I think I agree with you there. It's more on that level on the WWE or the pay-per-view. But speaking of pay-per-view, have you ever considered doing an pay-per-view? Have you looked into that?
Without a doubt. We've had a number of conversations with a number of different organizations, and it's to be decided. I've always been really big on any company that I've ever started doing things ourselves. Being homegrown and really just producing our own organic advertising. With wrestling, it'd be talent. Anything that we're doing, we like to try to not reinvent the wheel, but keep everything that we do in-house. Employ people locally, give them jobs to do, so that way the community is making money off of this, and not just the company, but we're helping out everywhere. And I think that creating jobs is very, very important, because we're in a down market right now, and not everybody's fortunate enough to have something to do. But I can assure you that when RWE's in town, there's plenty of positions to fill, from ring crew to well, maybe not valets, because we have our valet
The
here.
best in the business. Right?
Yeah, but there's so much potential and so much opportunity. I receive so many emails and phone calls, and Craig, what can we do to help? And we appreciate that stuff, because it's a joint effort between us and the fans. And when you're on an independent level, you need the fans, because you can't rely on big sponsorship dollars or advertising or really any of that. It boils down to what goes on in that ring.
Now, I know you're running at Nomads in South Windsor. Have all your shows been there?
We've had some of our shows at Nomads. We've had some shows at our training facility. We have, some dates moving forward that we're looking at. Possibly, it's going to be exciting. In Hartford, we've looked at a number of dates, possibly even this October. Danbury. Boston, Massachusetts. So we're really, establishing our core foundation here in South Windsor, Connecticut.
Yeah.
And then just kind of branching out and seeing, what we have, because I think it's, important that we give the fans that have been supportive of us all summer long.
Yeah.
What they deserve. And, we promoted Gold Dust, Lord Goldie, Dustin Runnels, coming to Nomads in South Windsor August 2nd. We rescheduled the show. Bring them back.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I promised it. I'm going to give it to you guys. And, that's one thing that I'm big upon.
What about the cards around here in the New Haven area? Are you looking at any venues out this way?
Venue owners in the New Haven area, call me, 860-368-0793. Email me, info@realwarriorentertainment.com. We would love to come and host many, 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 many shows in the New Haven area.
That's what we like to hear, yeah.
Exactly.
We would love to. I would, if you guys know the venue that would love to bring in Real Warrior Entertainment and Real Pro Wrestling, let me know.
Definitely. Things I can think of offhand would be if, maybe one of the universities like Quinnipiac, if you were to contact them, something like that.
You know what, that's a great idea, because your demographic is right there, and you got all those guys living on campus, and the sports teams and stuff like that would definitely be into it.
Hamden
Hamden
next door, there's a big college community.
We're all for it. We have a great relationship with the folks at Nomads. They're fantastic there. They have great entertainment that they provide other than RWE wrestling. But, we're happy to have forged a profitable long-term relationship with the folks over there. And, Mike and Joanne, they've all been nothing but helpful.
So that's your version of the Impact Zone.
Yeah, I guess, you could say that. Our version of the Impact Zone. I mean, wait till you see what we do to Nomads this Friday, because everybody has come, or those of you that have come to the RWE shows, you go in, you see a nice production, but we have some plans this week that's really going to separate the production value. This is like our pilot.
Excellent. Now, something we always ask our guests: what got you into wrestling? Did you like it as a kid? Who were your favorite guys? Growing up, of course, we all know Hogan and The Rock and those fellas. But what got you into it? Why wrestling, and why now?
Pro wrestling. If any promoter out there doesn't admit to being a fan from an early age, they're lying. You have
Anybody, yeah.
I'm a mark, hard in and hard out, and I don't care what anybody says. I love pro wrestling, and as far as who did I really enjoy watching growing up, I remember my brother taking me to the shows at the Hartford Civic Center and the New Haven Coliseum, and I was the only kid standing on my chair screaming at the top of my lungs, rooting for Bam Bam Bigelow. Mr. Perfect. I don't know what it was. The $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase.
I used to love him too.
So you're more toward my age than his age.
Those were the guys that I grew up, and I just took to their characters. Bam Bam's tattoos on his head, and Mr. Perfect's arrogance, ravishing Rick Rude's pants, and his that whole thing he did with Jake the Snake, and that and his girlfriend. That was great. Yeah. $1 Million Man Ted DiBiase, trying to buy the WWE championship, WWF championship at the time. I wasn't really a Hogan fan. I loved Andre the Giant. Yeah. I didn't really experience Ric Flair until I got a little bit older, until he came and he took the #1 entrant into the Royal Rumble that year and took it, and I was like, wow, who is this guy? Yeah. He was more down south.
Yeah. That was a guy that you saw on TV and heard about in the magazines and stuff.
Yeah, I watched WWF a little more myself, but I did know what the Four Horsemen and all that.
Right.
I just remembered him coming onto TV with that big gold belt. Like, wow, what is this? This is amazing. And that belt was the belt, man. That beautiful, beautiful. Like, there was no other belt. And now Vince owns it, and I think that's a trophy for him. But yeah, I mean, that's growing up, that's what I loved, and as an adult and having my own son and going to the shows, and me and him sneaking backstage to WrestleMania 29 this past year was really cool.
Awesome.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we had a great time. It's just stuff like that, and obviously, again, having my own kids that are interested and love, that's in itself, just to see the expression on their face during an event or after an event is gratification enough.
Well, what do you think of the WWE's current products, like the direction they're taking their company? And what about the Performance Center? Like I said, I was going to ask you.
Right. As far as the Performance Center, they have the money to support it. Guys like Colt Cabana that tried to open up a training facility. There's not many training facilities that turn out to be successful, in my opinion, because it's a hard market. I mean, you got guys and girls that, you're trying to charge them to perform a service, and we're in a tough economy as it is. The WWE, fortunately for them, they have the financial backbone that they can support a huge undertaking like this. I think it's great for a lot of the guys and girls, especially, some of them on my roster. I know for a fact they've been down to the facility, and they're getting looked at.
Well, it's important. If he's going to look at them, it's very, very important, because I know there was an interview he did a couple weeks ago, and basically saying that he wants to show people the right way. And there's a big difference between performing in front of thousands of people or in a little auditorium or a high school gym. And, you know, the way that made the way that sounded, it was almost like it was kind of a slight to independent wrestling in a way, whether he necessarily meant it that way or not.
Triple H knows that without independent wrestling, you know, there would be no WWE. The new talent wouldn't be there. But now they've really tried to take control of that market, and with this performance facility, I think it's great. It's great for the talent. You know, they have a place that they can go, that they can get looked at. They can be on NXT. They can hopefully get their chance. But I think it's going to turn into a breeding ground, and they're just going to have hundreds and hundreds of unsigned guys down there. I mean, Sami Callihan and, you know, all these great guys and girls that were in this area. Mercedes, now Sasha Banks, and you know, when are we going to see him on TV?
Not soon enough, or
Are we going to see them
too
on
soon
TV?
for some.
Do you think it was a good idea for them to hire somebody from the circus environment, though, when they should have maybe gone with a wrestling ring?
You know, it's easy for us to sit here and to critique the idea of them to bring somebody in from a circus environment, but consider this for a second. You know, the WWE is a circus.
Oh, absolutely.
You know,
They have one ring instead of three.
Absolutely. They are a one-ring circus, and they travel, you know, because if any of being a promoter, if you do not take any advice or any ethics or anything from P.T. Barnum, then, you know, you have no business being in the business.
Yeah, and it's show business, as Vince is, you know.
Yeah, it's like they hired writers from the
Soap
actual
opera.
soap
Right.
operas.
Right.
And now they got
on the air anymore.
one of the Baileys from Barnum and Bailey, and yeah, I think it's a good thing. I mean, Barnum and Bailey's been a successful product long before WWE was in business, and they've proven how to entertain people, and you know, and that's basically, you know, we want to be entertained. And you know, you can throw two guys in the ring, and they can be technicians in the ring and have no personality. And you brought up the fact that you know, character, you know, and I think part of that will be character development and how to get out there.
Yeah,
and
because this guy's going to be charged
like,
definitely with rating people's.
You mentioned a guy like Mayweather, but it all goes back to even Muhammad Ali. You know, prior to Muhammad Ali, with his persona, I mean, superstar Billy Graham ripped him off.
Right.
Admittedly, ripped him off with the, you know, the
Float like a
man of
butterfly,
the
sting
hour,
like a
too
bee,
sweet to be
man.
sour.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, that is just the rap of Muhammad Ali, and I think making characters, and all the guys that you mentioned that, you know, like Bam Bam Bigelow and Jake the Snake, are characters, and I think we lack a lot of that. And I've said it many a time.
They're going to have an evaluation system at this school.
Right.
This man is going to be charged
Consider, I mean, this guy coming in from the circus, he's managing, you know, all these great up-and-coming superstars.
Yeah.
But what did he do before that? Well, he managed people that managed elephants and tigers and bears, and, you know, if you can do that, you know, he's obviously has an idea in his pulse on, you know, entertainment production and being able to properly, you know, manage a lot of people or things at one time.
Yeah, yeah. I think it's great. I think it's promising that there's a safe venue down there, because, you know, yourself, you've got the training center, PWA's got the training center, and we know that you're both teaching safety.
Yes.
And, you know, I mean, there's a lot of unscrupulous people out there.
Safety's important
that will
with any
just
job.
throw money at a guy. Hey, you want to be on a wrestling card? And just throw money at a guy. And these kids go out and think that they're Jimmy Superfly Snuka jumping off, you know, the top rope onto a concrete floor in some high school somewhere and getting hurt. And the promoter walks away with the cash. And, you know, these kids aren't insured. They're not, you know, their hospital's not paid. And they're just going out there, you know, living their dream and not being supervised properly. And I think a guy like you know, knowing that safety's an issue, a guy like Joseph Von Schmidt, and this performance center, learning the craft, learning to be safe, and learning how to entertain, not just going out there and just doing a Jeff Hardy swanton and you know, breaking your back.
It all goes back to training. It all goes back to training. I mean, no matter how great, no matter how good you are in your your trade, your craft, whatever it is you do, whether it be baseball, whether I'm in sales and marketing, and that's what I do for a living, and I'm constantly going to training and reading and trying to better myself, and I think that that should go with any talent for any profession anywhere throughout the world, and especially with pro wrestling. I mean, if you're on an independent level and you think that you're going to work your 9-to-5 job and then go to your show that Friday or Saturday and just throw on some tights and some boots and compete, I don't agree with that. Yeah. I don't agree with that. I think that particular person needs to be at some sort of training facility on a regular basis, no matter what you're touching on, whether it be the basics, because you can't go over the basics enough.
Right.
You can't.
Bull Dread says that all the time too. He was just on the talking with Tom, and that's exactly what he said. He goes down to PWA, and Bull Dread's been in this business for 15, 20 years now.
Oh, easy.
And he still goes over the same stuff, and it's just going. So you don't get ring rust, so you don't get hurt going over the same moves over and over and over.
I agree with
that. And it's stretching, and again, it goes back to playing guitar. Yngwie Malmsteen, as great as he is, plays the scales every day.
Gotta keep up with it.
And
and there's not enough, in my opinion, talent in the area that are training. I've put some feelers out there, even to the point where some people were like, "What are you, crazy? Come train? You mean to tell me all the training that I've gotten from X, Y, and Z person doesn't matter?" And I'm like, that's not at all the point that I'm trying to make. The point that I'm trying to make is that we can all be better as one. And that training that you have prior, great, take that with you. You can give that back to another student that's here that maybe doesn't know about. And I don't pretend to be a wrestler. I don't pretend to be a trainer. I don't do any of this stuff. But I'll tell you what, I will bring the best possible candidate to the job to make sure that the guys and girls have the proper training and knowledge.
So where do you see, we got to wrap things up in a minute, but where do you see RWE going within the next year?
I'm just here to have fun. Put out a product that I can be proud of, that the guys and girls that step through our ropes can be proud of, and that the fans undoubtedly enjoy 100%. And that's it. As far as where we go, I came into this with really no expectations. Yeah, it's a business. It's but I've surpassed my expectations at this point. Having the opportunity to work with Jay Lethal and the Young Bucks and Sanjay Dutt and Todd Hansen and Justin Credible, Vladimir Joseph, and there's so many other names that I just can't even. Tommy Dreamer. It's a dream come true, really. So.
Great.
Excellent.
Thank you very much for being here.
Thank you, guys.
Jen, next time don't talk so much.
I'm Hollywood J. Williams. If you're in East Haven watching this in Universe, get out there and vote tomorrow in the Democratic primary. I was asked by a friend of mine to mention that.
That's fine. Yeah.
Running for town council.
It's always, hey, you know what? If you're not part of the process, then you have no right to complain. So get out there. Thank you for watching. Thank you to our guests.
Good night and good luck, and we'll see you next week.